Hey everybody, welcome back to my show. I'm Nuzzo Castro Libero, and this is Hey, what do you want to talk about? I was very excited about my first guest today on the show, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it. We tried to reach out to him and have him on the show. You probably heard of him, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Well, we were gonna try to get him on the show, but he no answer our call, so we're gonna keep trying. So stay tuned, because eventually he gonna want to come on. And it really don't matter because we got a great guest today. Her name is Betty, and she work at the bakery not too far from my house. And the reason why I wanted a Betty on the show is because on the last show I talked about how I had this sandwich when I used to go to school in Italy, a panino with mortadella and burrino cheese. It's been out of my mind now for a long time since then, and I'm like, I gotta get me one of those paninos or else I'm gonna go crazy. So I get in my car, I drive it to the bakery. It wasn't too far because, like I said, it's close to my house. And I go in, and there's a Betty behind the counter, and I go up to her and I go, "Hi, I'm Nuzzo Castro Libero, and I'm looking for a delicious bread because I want to make a panino with a mortadella and the burrino cheese." And then I ask her, "Hey, do you know what mortadella is?" And she's like, "I never heard of it." And I said, "Oh, mortadella is like, an Italian sausage, a lunch meat, and it's made from, pork, and it has about 20%, 30% pork fat in it. And sometimes they chop it up and they put a black pepper in it, or sometimes they even put like a pistachios. I like them both, so whatever works with the bread for that mortadella, I greatly appreciate your recommendation." She said, "I got a great sandwich bread for you. I just make it. Let me go in the back. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to give it to you. When you make your sandwich, when you come back, let me know how it tastes." I said, "Okay." So I made my sandwich. I put it the mortadella on. I put it the burrito cheese on, and then I took a bite. Oh, my God. It was like I was back in Italy when I was back at school. And I was so excited. I finished my sandwich, and I go to the bakery, and she's still there, thank God. And I say to her, "Betty, you gotta come on my show. Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And she said, "I really don't know. Why should I?" And I'm like, "Why should you? You're making the best bread. Come on, people gotta know." And she's like, "Okay, I can use the publicity." And I go, "Exactly. You're gonna get so much business because so many people are now starting to listen to my show," which is so true because lately I've been getting a lot of feedback from people in the neighborhood. I don't know, you might have heard, but even little Tommy, who was a guest on my show, he pointed it out to me that he's like, "Hey, Nuzzo, everybody's talking about you." And I'm like, "Of course, it's a good show." So Betty said, "Okay, I'm going to come on." So now we got Betty here in the studio. So, hey, Betty, welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, Nuzzo. Thanks for having me on the show. This is exciting.
It's pronounced Nuzzo. Nuzzo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nuzzo. You said to come on and talk about the bakery. It would be good publicity.
For sure, you're going to get a lot of publicity. I'm going to bring you so much business because this show is about to take off. I'm telling you, I can feel it in my bone. This show is going to skyrocket like you wouldn't believe. Forget about it going to the moon. This is bigger. It's going to go past Mars. It's going to go past Uranus.
Oh, you said Uranus.
Yes, Uranus. And maybe even Pluto. Believe you and me, I'm no joke around. As a matter of fact, this one guy, he called me. His name is Gordon. And I'm like, "Gordon?" I'm like, "Okay, hello, Gordon." And he's like, "Hi, Nuzzo. I'd like to introduce myself." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm Gordon." I go, "I know, you mentioned that before." And I was like Commissioner Gordon from the 1960 show's Batman. And he's like, "Yeah, like that." And I go, "Oh, okay." I go, "By the way, the 1960s Batman is the best show because all the other ones and even the movies, they don't compare because you got, Adam West. The guy was a genius. He should have won an Oscar for that TV show. I could have done without Robin, but Batman by Adam West, come on, nobody could hold a candle on him." So I said, "Okay, what do you want, Gordon?" And he go on and he's like, "Oh, I'm the guy from Podmany." And I go, "Pod what?" He goes, "Podmany." I go, "Pod Little? Never heard of you." And he goes, "Well, we're very popular. We got a lot of podcast shows." And I go, "Oh, but you don't got mine." He's like, "That's why I'm calling you. I really, really like your show."
Hey, Nuzzo, I brought you some avocado chips that I bagged up from the bakery.
"Oh, thank you." So, as I was saying, he started laughing. And I'm like, why are you laughing at me? And he's like, I'm not laughing at you. I laughing and thinking about your shows. And I'm like, why are you laughing at my show? It's not a comedy show, Gordon. And he's like, no, I mean, it's a good show. And I think it could be a really, really big show. And I think that if you come in and join the Pod Little, I got a feeling that you being on our format, it could be a really big show. And I don't even know what format is. And I told him, hey, I already got my own podcast show. I put it on the social media. Man, what do you don't think we don't know what we're doing it? We're very high production. And he like, everybody can use a little help, you know? And I think we're the team to make it happen. I think we can make a nice podcast show for you. I already got my own podcast, the show that I put on a social media. He's like, but this can be really, really big. And I say, oh, thank you, genius. Like I didn't know that. Okay, Gordon, what else you want to tell me? That the best color for the lava lamp is orange and that the pet rock is really not a pet, but just a stupid, lazy excuse for wannabe pet owners who don't want to feed their pets, take care of their pets, pick up their poop, pet them. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that my show's going to be bigger. And I'm like, maybe you should talk to little Tommy. So he go on, he goes, well, can we talk? And I said, well, let's schedule a phone call because right now I got to go because I wasn't making my panino. So yeah, you're going to get a lot of publicity because big companies are calling me because they want my show. And I don't blame them.
Oh, wow, Nutso, that sounds very exciting for you. And by the way, my favorite lava lamp color is purple.
Oh, that's nice, Betty. But you're wrong. Orange is the best color. Everybody says so. So listen, let's get us some advertising for you for free. Because the next time I'm going to have to charge you because, you know, I'm going to get the sponsors and they're going to have to pay. You know what I mean? So tell me, what is the name of the bakery so all of my listeners know what it's called?
Baking with the Heart.
That seems like, what do they call it, deceptive advertising because in all reality, Betty, you cannot bake it with your heart. You got to bake it with an oven. I mean, come on. Everybody knows you need an oven when you bake.
It's just an expression.
I think maybe what you should do is change the name to baking with my oven. So everybody knows, hey, she's baking with her oven. What does that mean? It means she's baking hot stuff in the oven. It's just that simple. I mean, it's right in the name. The advertisements right there. But hey, it's your business. I don't want to get in your business. So tell me, where is Baking with My Heart located?
We're at 2072 Church Street.
Oh, Betty, before I forget, did you ever bake the panettone? You know that Italian bread that has got, fruit in it, like a raisin. It's got a pineapple, some orange rind, and it's very, very soft. It's
Yes, I've made panettone at the bakery a number of times.
You know what panettone is like? It's kind of like the American, what's it called? The fruit cake, but softer and more delicious. As a matter of fact, the fruit cake is disgusting. Why did they even create it? I don't know. It's more like a brick. They should call it brick cake. As a matter of fact, one time in this Christmas holidays, I go to visit all of my families, and everybody, they bring out nice drinks, coffees, desserts, and especially the panettone, which is like a big tradition in Italian families to have the panettone. If you don't get the panettone, you're pretty much gonna be, the new year is gonna be very, very bad for you. A lot of misfortune. Probably end up going to the hospital, getting some kind of disease you cannot cure, or maybe get into a tragic car accident, or your house will catch on fire. That's why it's so important to have the panettone, because it's for wishing everybody a healthy and prosperous new year. So this one holiday season, I remember I was going to everybody's house and I was drinking a lot of drinks, amarettos, coffees, espressos, just everything you can imagine. And I was eating a tremendous amount of panettone, and I was like, oh, this is one of the best days. Next year's going to be fantastic. Until I go to my cousin's Aldo's house. And Aldo, he says, oh, nice to see you, cousin. And I'm like, nice to see you, cousin. And I walk in, and on the dining room, he's got everything, but I don't see a panettone. Instead, he got a fruit cake. And I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good because he's got a fruitcake. It's going to be a horrible year for him next year. So I sit down, we start talking a little bit about the kids and the family. And he goes, hey, you want a piece of this fruitcake? In my head, I'm like, well, what are you kidding me? I'd rather shoot myself in the foot. You know what I mean? You think I really want to commit suicide? And I'm like, sure, it looks delicious. I'm lying, of course. So then he cut me a piece. It took him like 2 days to cut this piece of brick cake. And he put it on my plate. And I eat it, and I'm pretending it's the most delicious thing in the world, right? And then I go home that night, right? And then I'm lying down in bed. So my stomach was upset ever since I left my cousin Aldo's house. And I have this nightmare. It was so bad, this nightmare. I'm dreaming that I'm walking around and everything is white, like if it was in a big place in Alaska where there's all this snow, you know what I mean? And it's cold, and I hear something behind me. And as I'm walking, you hear crunching snow. And I'm like, what is that behind me? And I turn around, and all of a sudden, it's a polar bear. And we both freeze, and we lock the eyes. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. He had a look like he didn't want to kill me, like maybe more like he kind of liked me. So all of a sudden, I'm frozen in my place, and the polar bear, he's running after me, and I'm screaming, stop chasing me, you son of a bitch, polar bear. Leave me alone. Come on, please, somebody wake me up from this nightmare. Wake me up from this nightmare. Polar bear want to kill me. But instead of killing me, he kissed me. He kissed me on the lips. On the lips. Kissed me on the lips. And he gave me a big bear hug. And I was confused. I was scared. I didn't know whether I got to kiss him back or if I should start running. But I was still very scared because it's a polar bear. And I guess I was in my sleep and I flew like, 4 feet. As I'm flying, my knee hit the wall next to the bed. It put a hole in the wall, and it hurt my knee, like really, really bad. And I scream. I'm like, oh, my knee, the stupid polar bear. My wife, she wake up, and she's like, oh, Nutso, what's wrong? I go, I had a really bad nightmare. This polar bear wanted to kiss me, and I tried to run away, and then I guess I flew out of the bed, and my knee hit the wall, and I put a hole in the wall, and she looked at me, and she's like, Manuzzo, you crazy. And I'm like, oh, I'm crazy, yeah, but I'm glad I'm awake, and now my knee, she really hurt really bad. And she's like, okay, try to get to sleep, and maybe you go to the doctor tomorrow. So, the next day, I'm like, I'm never going to eat that stupid fruitcake again.
That's nutso. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry you got hurt.
Oh, Betty, don't worry about the pain. You see what happened is my knee was hurting so much. My wife, she forced me to go see an orthopedic surgeon, right? So she make the appointment. I go to see the doctor, and he come in when I was sitting on the doctor's table, and he asked me, hey, dude, so what happened with your knee? How did you hurt it so bad? And I was like so embarrassed. I didn't want to tell him like, I had this dream about a polar bear that was in love with me. And this guy's gonna write down in his notepad, guy's crazy. And then all of a sudden I go in for my, work on my knee. And instead I'm in the psychiatric ward on the 4th floor in the hospital, So all of a sudden I said, oh, dude, so you got to come up with something. You got to lie. And I said, oh, I heard myself playing a jahalai. And in my brain, I'm like, what the fuck? How did you come up with Jai? And then I remember, like a week before I go to the doctor, I read in this article, the sport, the Jai, and it's stuck in my brain, I guess. So that's what I use as an excuse. And he's looking, he goes, Jai? I go, yeah, that sport that they play a lot in Spain. It's kind of like a racquetball, except that they use, instead of a racket, they use like a basket that is made of wicker, and it's got a very, very long curve, and they tie it around your arm, and basically use it to catch this little ball, and then you whip it with the basket, and the ball goes like 250 miles an hour, 350 miles an hour, maybe sometimes 400 miles an hour. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I told him. And he goes, I never knew you were into sports. I go, oh, yeah, I've been loving the Jai life for a long time. And now I cannot stop lying, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I go, so yeah, that's why I'm here, because I got to get my knee fixed because I'm going to be in an amateur pro Jai tournament. And he's like, okay, well, let's get it fixed up. So not only did my cousin make me have a bad dream, he also is making me become a liar with my doctor. And that's not a good thing, because now when I go back to the appointment, I gotta maybe wear a jersey, with the team logo or something, and I gotta keep the lie going, But I don't feel as bad for myself because, what happened is because my cousin had that brick cake, he lost his job, he got divorced, and they repossessed his car. So in a way, he kind of got paid back, and I feel sorry for him. So that's why I say you always got to have the panettone. It's like an insurance, you know what I mean? So, Betty, let's do some more free advertising. What are the kind of things you bake at your bakery shop?
Well, we specialize in pastries and tea cakes and artisan breads like marble rye and sourdough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Betty, but we are out of time. Thank you for coming on the show, and I really think my listeners very much enjoyed what you had to say about your bakery. And don't forget to go visit Betty at Baking with Our Oven. She's going to be happy to see my listeners come there and visit. Remember to mention my name because she's going to give you a discount. And you tell her that Nuzzo Castrolibro sent you and that you enjoyed listening to her on the show. So don't forget to check in next week because we're going to talk about how to make a homemade ice cream without using ice. It's a trick that I learned in Italy a long time ago. Arrivederci.